Welcome to Monday. That's right, Monday. That's the day when the winners get up and get after it right from the get-go. And I am super fortunate to have my friend Kim Sweers join us today. She is a rock star entrepreneur. She's in a super cool category, which she will share all about boating. But tell me something good is an opportunity for leaders and influencers to share what's good every single day, because there's always that gratitude piece, and I don't know anybody else who handles gratitude better than you. So, Kim Sweers, tell us something good.
Thanks, Steve. I remember the first day we met and how awesome that day changed my life. And every day that I get to talk to you or see you speak is just a blessing. So thanks for being in my life. I'm very grateful for you.
I'm humbled and flattered. Thank you.
So we're both very motivating people. We love to be motivated. We love to motivate others and see people grow. And that's really my why. People say, why do you do all this? And so it's really just to, I get so much gratitude and growth by helping other people out. And my team, I'll take the whole COVID-19 pandemic. When that happened, I remember I was really working like 20-hour days. It was really crazy. And this photo, which I have on my desk, is a picture of my team. Remember this day?
I was there for that.
And so, yeah, that sits on my desk, and that really is my why. Why am I doing this? And then the second thing, when it really got really bad, and I was out there working, 21 days, this picture was a picture of my employees, and which we call my team members, all their children. You see that? So,
Nice.
So when you really put into perspective, you can either give up, which we chose, Randy, my husband and business partner, we said, we're not going to furlough anybody. We're not going to lay anyone off. We're going to, put our heads down. And that is our why. Those people are our why. The kids, the grandkids, and that's really why I get up every day and just, hit it hard, is because there's people that are depending on me. And that right there is what leaders forget, is the people and the lives behind their people. And stay focused, and tough times don't last, tough people do, as you say.
I love that. So for the sake of my audience that doesn't know what you do for a living, what your company does, and why you're the leader in the space, can you share a little bit about FB?
Well, I'm like an anomaly. I'm a woman in the boat business, which really doesn't really, it is now, it's coming, it's very chic now. But when I started in the business 20 years ago, it was really just, a lot of guys and maybe just me or a few women. And so I really embraced it. At first, it drove me crazy. I come from the telecom industry. I used to build data networks for a living. So I'm a techie girl. But whenever I was around Randy, it was like, oh my God, this boats. And then finally I said, if I don't join it and listen, I'm out of here. I can't deal with this. And so I started to enjoy it and understand it more. And so I took what I learned from corporate America in the IT space and sales and brought that to Randy's business, and then helped him over the last 21 years, grow it to what it is today. So we're a multi-location, both 30 rock star team members that deliver dreams every single day.
Well, I love that. Now, we talk about choices all the time. People have choices about their attitude. They have choices about lots of different things. You guys had a choice at the beginning of this to fold the tents and say, all right, we're non-essential and we're going to shut it down. You chose not to do that. Can you share a little bit of your motivation and insight into what made you do that and what the result is? Because I know over the last month, you've changed a lot of people's lives.
I have, yeah. Well, I have a saying, hope for the best, but always prepare for the worst. So in 2000, I think it was when Romney and Obama were talking about women, and they were all about supporting women, I said to Randy, my husband, I said, and business partner, let me take over and I'm going to run with this government services and really steer us in another direction. So we're not just retail anymore, we're a government service provider, and we provide services and parts and boats and motors to a lot of the government agencies in this town and really in Florida. So that, in essence, allowed us to become an essential business and to remain open. So we've been very fortunate to service the best of the best that protect all of us. And so part of the whole thing of surviving this is always being prepared for the what if. You always have to have your deck ready for a presentation, your business plan. You always have to be ready for the lights to go off. And when this happened, when everyone was like, you got to go, you got to work at home, my admin team, they have kids, young kids, and they all of a sudden had to go work out of their homes. So coming from the IT world, I already set FB Marine Group up like 15 years ago, 20 years ago on this, work from home type of platform. So all my people have been able to, if they had a child that was sick or a parent or whatever their circumstances was, I was like, go home, work out of your house. So they were able to pick up and do what we all are doing now. We've been doing this forever. We've been doing this for a long time. So that's one thing that businesses don't think of. They think it's going to be smooth sailing for, and don't worry about it. But we've had 9/11, we've had 2008, we've had cancer in our business. I had cancer, and when the CEO has cancer, the business has cancer, and it really affected us. And then we have COVID-19. So we've always had these really hard challenges, but as a business, if you're prepared for it, when it's not a crisis and you're ready, and when it's time to execute, you are on it and you succeed.
I've watched over the last 6 weeks what you're posting in social media, what messages you're sending out there. Yeah. Number one is you shared that FB was virtual right from the start. So you certainly had a head start to do that. But just the way that you're changing people's lives, to people thinking that you can't buy a boat or you shouldn't buy a boat or whatever, that's social distancing when you're on the water. Yeah. And, exactly. Some of the pictures have been amazing what you've been able to do. Well, so talk to me about some of the experience, how people approach you to buy a boat now, and what's been the outcome of that.
Well, it's hard to sell in a crisis. You have to be careful. You have to be courteous and sensitive. So our why became no longer selling a boat. It was getting out of the house. It was social distancing. It's not the four walls that you're in right now. This is not the only answer. It's getting on the water. And if you do live on the water, you can, buy a boat, or if you have a friend that has a house on the water. So, that whole thing about staying at home doesn't really exist in our world. So we really wanted to get that message out there that we're here for you. If you have a boat that needs to be fixed, we want to get you on the water. We want that family to not go crazy, sitting at home about to kill each other. So get out there, the big blue sea, and distance yourself, but be smart about it. And we have a saying, boat smart from the start. And unfortunately, so a few bad boaters out there, ruined it for a lot of us, and they shut the ramps down and shut the marinas down. So, hopefully that will in the future change. People won't be so stupid about boating, but we really want that message out there that get out there. If you've never been a boater, now is the time to boat, man. There's so much to see out there.
And that's the fascinating part. I was so happy to start my Monday talking to you this morning, but the amount of first-time buyers is probably a big part of what's going on for you right now.
It is. There's a lot of people that have said they've been sitting on the sideline, and then they call, so like, you know what, I'm ready. I can't sit at home anymore. My family's driving me crazy, or my family needs something to do. First-time boaters are coming out of the woodwork. So there's a lot of sellers that need to sell because of an unfortunate situation. And then there's a lot of buyers that, just want something new. So if you're looking to sell, now is the time, because there are people that are out there looking, to do something different.
So circling back to the big C word for you, which is, I don't want to make too lightly of that. You did beat cancer. What about that particular experience? Because I don't think that there's a bigger crisis than that. And then you relate that to what's going on now, or the temperament of your company. You said if you have cancer, the CEO has cancer, the company has cancer. How can you relate that to what it's going through? Because there are some really great leadership things going on now. And you and I talked about it. There's some leaders who are running and hiding now who are not getting in front of this. So what could you relate from that experience?
There's a lot of coaches in the world that I seek every morning, and I look at their videos and their posts, and they're like gone. And Steve, you've been so consistent. Your message is always out there. And so as a leader, you cannot be an absent leader. You got to be with your people. I sometimes change the trash cans, and I'm with my people, and Randy's cleaning boats and doing what it takes, but it's 100% the CEO down to the frontline person has to be in that boat rowing in the same direction. And when it comes to the whole cancer and analogy, this is what cancer is like. COVID-19 is exactly what I felt. The moment that they told me that I had cancer, after I passed out, woke up, and then you realize that, oh shit, I've got a crisis on my hand, and your whole world goes from hero to zero. What do you do? And so I was able to just regroup quickly, change my, my focus, set up a plan, and execute. And the big part of that execution is making sure your team is the right team. You cannot have toxic people in your life right now. You got to be with the most motivating people, like, you and your son, Mark. Man, every morning I'm like, woo, I'm on it, and I get fed the word. So if you're getting it from you guys or from somewhere else or the Bible or for, wherever you're getting it from, you got to get fed some motivation, because these are some trying times, and cancer is the same way. This is what cancer is all about: washing your hands, wearing a mask,
Wow.
telling you can't go outside the house, everything this is what it's like. And so it's a weird analogy, but it's a good one. And so you got to be able to think fast, make your plan, switch it quickly, and then execute that plan.
It's interesting that you say that. And first of all, thanks for acknowledging, my son's new to the business, not to the business world, but to our business. And April 1st came, we had planned for him to be president, and he was like, oh shit, what do we do now? And I go, we just do what we do. You don't, for your entire life, you can allow outside circumstances to dictate your happiness. One of the great things about you, and I do remember meeting you, you stood out in that crowd, this big smile, and you were just so engaging. I don't think I've ever not seen you smile. Yeah. And that's what people pay attention to. I write about that in my book. It's one of the rules in the book is smile, because smiling is just as contagious as the virus that we're talking about. Yeah. Well, all of a sudden, people just get lost in fear and trepidation, and they're not the same. So, I love that you recognize that. And to the point of
funny story, not to interrupt you about the smiling before we leave, but challenge myself. I think it was you that might have done this. Somebody challenged me to smile at people, like just smile. You're sitting at the red light and you just smile. So I was like, I did this challenge where I smiled at everyone for a full, it was supposed to be like one day. I did it for a full week. I got marriage proposals, dates. People were like, who? Do I know you? But when you smile at people, what that does is it just makes their day, makes your day. Like, if you can walk up to someone at like Target or wherever, or Neiman Marcus, wherever you're at, and say, that is a really great jacket. If I say, Steve, that jacket and that pocket square is awesome. You look amazing. And you didn't know me, what would you say? Thanks.
Right. You're so right. I mean, it's, for me, one of the things that's a positive from this new work environment is that people are seeing themselves, how they show up. Like in a normal interaction, I would come visit you, but I wouldn't see me. There's no way for me to critique what I look like, what I'm acting like. But now your body language, your facial intonations are so significant because we're in a virtual environment. You don't get those visual clues in other places like this. And so you instantly can change the dialogue with a smile. And I use the analogy that if you and I were in a fight and we were going at it, and I just stepped back and smiled, you wouldn't even know what to do because you're so deep in it. You'd only smile back, So it's, it's fascinating that the most simple things that people do, are the ones that have the most lasting, effect. So I want to talk about one last thing. It's another C word, and that's culture. And one of the things that at the end of the year, I just got the opportunity to speak to your team, which you showed that picture. And I had such a good time because the way you guys led that meeting was so engaging. And so, I mean, literally, everybody was having fun.
Yeah.
Everybody, and you, I think, you and your husband did an amazing job of making everybody feel like they were part of it, which
Yes.
is, I think, why when you come to challenges, that gives people the clue like, hey, I'm going to follow her. So I don't know if you want to comment a little bit
Sure.
about what was the tipping point for you to understand that your most valuable asset is the people that that you work with every day.
Well, I brought it from corporate America. I was #1 at Sprint in data, #1 salesperson. And every time I got called into my boss's office, you know what I thought? Oh shit, am I losing my job? And I never, I was, so I always wanted to build an environment of safety, that people would come to work and not feel threatened. If I called them into my office, they were like, "What's up, boss?" It's like, and it's comfort. And so we have a family, we're a family owned and operated business, and our culture is one of teamwork. And we're all in that boat rowing together. And, everyone's all about, hey, can I get some help? No one's out to one up each other. It's all about the teamwork. And so, our brand is everything. Everyone is so proud to wear what we call the uniform, but it's really our brand. I wear it. Randy wears it. Our team members wear it. Our clients love it. Get your brand out there. We all have, like, your logo is awesome. Everyone's got a really cool logo. You spent an ungodly amount of money creating it. Get it out there. Let your people wear it. Let them, be proud of it. And so we see them after hours, on weekends, and they're always wearing our stuff. So it's a really good thing, get that culture of teamwork. And it's all about, inviting people like you to get them to think out of the box. How can we be even better than we already are? And, thank you for doing that for us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I mean, one of the things I've noticed, and we'll part with this, is that a lot of people talk about culture, they don't act the culture. I think especially in corporate America, they talk about how they think their people feel, and they don't really ask. And one of the things at that meeting, you asked, what do you guys think of this? How does this affect you? What's your mindset? And that inclusion is so powerful. So it's no surprise that your business is flourishing. We'll give people the contact information if they want to look at a boat, buy a boat, try a boat, whatever it is. But you are a shining example. I'm thrilled that I know you. I'm thrilled that you were able to come share your thoughts with us. And
thank you
for being something good.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
See ya.